Hi and welcome to this week's project. So this week I'm going to be just making up some coasters. Quite simple little projects these. I'm going to be using Alumilite Clear Slow. Now this resin isn't very good with heat on it particularly, so it's not perfect for coasters, but it's what I'm going to be making the coasters in. It tends to be just for juice and stuff that I have, not particularly hot drinks. So I was in Hobbycraft and I happened to see these little stones. They're just little painted stones, and and this is what I'm going to be using for the coasters. So I'm just going to make a little decorative designs in the bottom of these, and I'm going to put the Alumilite Slow in. They'll go in a pressure pot for a couple of hours, and that should be at least the first stage of these done. So I hope you enjoy. Okay, so I'm going to be using Alumilite Clear today, and I'm going to need a little measuring pot. You can get these little measuring pots actually at House of Resin. So I'm going to be using these. I'm not actually that sure on how much resin I'm going to need, so I'm only going to do two at a time because I want to put them in the pressure pot in between. So I have little scales here, and I will basically, I'm going to be looking for a good amount, probably it doesn't tend to go by, yeah, it'd be about 200 mils I think, which is about there. That's going to be sort of about the size I'm going to be looking for initially. I am going to do a little bit extra just to make sure if I do need any extra. But anyway, let's get messing around with this and get some nice designs in the bottom of here and see what we can do. So first off, I'm going to sprinkle a load of these in to the bottom of there, and then I'm going to run a little river of these ones through it.
Screamed out for more. It's the storm inside that's breaking my heart each morning while it keeps it going. It's been driving my life into both joy and sorrow, and there's still a long way to go.
Okay, so I think that is thick enough, and it's sort of reaching up to about 100 mils, so I think the original 250 mils for these will be absolutely fine. Right, so I've got my container here. I'm going to put that on first and put it back to 0. Going in with side A first. I think I've probably got enough of this resin here. I think I'm going to check on 100 grams first off. Okay, so that's 100 grams there, which is roughly around about 100 mils. So that's part A. So we'll do 100 of part B now. Now I'm going to set the timer. I've got 12 minutes, at least 12 minutes from now anyway. There we go. Perfect. 100 mils of B. Now we're only 1 minute in, and actually I could have started that clock from now, so it's only once part A hits part B. You'll see on here, you can see the little lines in there. You need to mix until they're clear. So I've got the plastic pots and the coasters actually just warming on a radiator. Just because Alumilite Clear has issues with moisture, it needs a pressure chamber, this resin. Like I say, there's lots of other resins you could use. This just happens to be the one I'm using today. It'd be roughly about 2 hours in a pressure pot. The resin's nice and clear now. I can already feel it heating up. I'm going to be looking at about, we're just on 5 minutes 39. I don't have any rush to get these in a pressure pot, but I'm going to give them a couple more minutes, till about 8 minutes, just to make sure that the container that they're in is warm, and then I shall start pouring. That's the first one. Might need to tip a bit more resin in there, but this I will give a wipe out now. But that's these ready to get into the pressure chamber. So in about 2 hours I'll let the pressure off there, and then we'll have a look, see how they went. I get asked quite a lot about what do I clean everything up with. I just thought I'd come while this is sitting there. And let me move this back a little bit. Okay. I actually use just some of these. This is not the best wipes I've ever had, I must say, but I use some of these wipes just to clean the containers out, to make them reusable. Once you buy these, you don't need to keep buying them, you just keep cleaning them out. Now some people will leave the resin to cure, and then they will clean it out when the plastic's dry, but I tend to find it a little bit easier to clean now. So I just give them a really good wipe out. It's HDPE that I use for casting on, so I can give that a wipe at the same time, just to try and keep this clean. It doesn't always stay this clean, but it cleans up very easy, HDPE surface. So just give them a good wipe out and a clean. Then I use a little bit of blue roll just to dry them out. And that is your container ready for the next time. You can also clean even your wooden sticks, you can give a clean. And that's that done. That'll be ready for next time. Give everything else a dry off. And that's your surface all clean. So just a little tip for you. These are still warm, so I'm going to leave them in the containers, and I shall cast the next two now. Okay, so after breaking the container and a bit off the coaster, I've decided that maybe these containers are not that good for casting in. So I'm going to look for a couple of different types of ones now, and we'll see where we go from there. and welcome back. So that's the end of the project. That's the 4. Took the other 2 out of the pressure pot. They came out particularly well. I just took the edges off with a little craft knife, and that's those complete. I used these containers for the second 2, and actually this was a lot better. I don't know why I didn't do this for the first 2. They came out of the pot with just a little bit of pressure from on the bottom. These are less than £1 in Tesco's in the UK. So that's them all. So these ones are a little bit bigger, and that's those ones. Obviously I used these stones here, which are, it's called Deco Rocks and Deco Gravel. So I used these. They came from Hobbycraft. They were about £8 I think a tub. They were quite expensive, but you could actually get quite a lot of coasters out of there if you were doing it for yourself or for craft. And I used Alumilite clear, which I did need a pressure pot for Alumilite clear. I did it because I could put them in a pressure pot and have this project done for you in a reasonable time. There is other resins out there that you could use. Amazing Clear Cast is a really good resin, because if you put your containers inside warm water, it makes them very runny, which means that you do not need to use any degassing for it. You might get some fine bubbles in it, but it'll do this types of casting really well. So you do have that. There also is palm resin, both available at House of Resin. So I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, give me that thumbs up. Please don't forget, if you haven't subscribed, because I do see a lot of people that do watch the videos aren't subscribed. If you're not subscribed already, please do press that subscribe button and press the bell next to it, and you'll get notifications when I put videos up. Videos do tend to go up every Wednesday. On an odd occasion they do go out on the Thursday if I'm just a little bit delayed or something's happening that I can't actually release them on that date. But other than that, they do go out every week. I really hope you enjoyed this video. This is just a quick craft project for yourselves, something that you just do not need all the equipment for. So hopefully more of you will be able to go out and do this type of thing. There is some stones on Amazon. I'm going to put links to them down below. They're not this one specific, these are specific to Hobbycraft, but they are a slight bit cheaper, and they're on Amazon, and I'm sure they do just the same, a range of colours. So I'll put a range of those down there. You don't pay any extra by using Amazon, but it does help support the channel. I get a few pennies back for each thing that's bought from my Amazon. So thank you very much, hope you enjoyed. Pictures coming up next, and I'll see you again next week. Dry